I'm on a time crunch. So today we're gonna be making breakfast because I have things to do today. And I actually wanted to vlog that, but since I haven't vlogged before, I just wanted to start out with something easy. So I'm just gonna vlog my morning. I've been up since 7 a.m., but right now it is 9:09. It's 9:09, and I'm making breakfast. So make breakfast with me. Come along, come along. Right now I'm gonna get my corn dog out the oven, my breakfast corn dog. It's like a sausage pancake corn dog. This is what it is. It's actually vegan. It's a Impossible one. And then I'm gonna also be making chamomile tea with it and eggs. So that's done. I put it in the oven like 20 minutes ago. Sorry, this vlog's all over the place. Right now, I'm going to make the eggs. I'm making the eggs now. Yeah. Making the eggs now. Sorry, this vlog is all over the place. Actually, before I make the eggs, I want to fill my pot with tea. Not with tea, but with water so I can make some tea. Tea, my kettle on the stove. And now I also need to make some water for my, I'm actually planning on boiling some water. For my tub because my sink is clogged, my drain is clogged in my tub, so I'm gonna make some water for that so I can pour it down the drain. So I already put Drano in it, so now I'm gonna finish it with some boiling hot water. It doesn't say you have to put boiling hot water on the back, it just says pour hot water down the drain after you put the Drano in the drain and let it sit for 30 minutes. But I just prefer the hot water. I just feel like the hot water will force it to go down, and I've just been doing that like that for a while, so I just prefer that method. So right now I'm going to be boiling my tea. Right now I'm going to make my little egg mixture for my scrambled eggs. I'm so sorry, I just hate this. I hate that you can barely see me. I'm so sorry. This is the best I can do. I wish it was angled better. I guess I'll just bend down. It'll just be better if I just bend down because I want to be face to face to you guys. So right now I'm going to be making the eggs. I'm about to make the mixture now. Well, there's one eggshell in here that I can't get out because I've mixed it too much and it's lost in the yolk. It's lost in the yolk. But you know what? A little crunch in an omelet is never too bad, so I guess we'll do it. I'm gonna put a little almond milk in my eggs because I do that just to make my scramble fluffy. I know some people do water, but I don't know. It's not almond milk, I mean oat milk. And this is what I used. Also, I just realized I forgot to show you guys the pancake and stick on a sausage that I was referring to earlier. But this is what I was talking about when I was talking about they're vegan and vegetarian. I'm mixing my egg mixture together. And right now I'm just gonna put a little salt. Little salt. Little salt. Then onion powder. Sorry, this vlog is very chaotic. But I've really wanted to do it. So this pan is really hot already. And then a little garlic salt. I ran out of garlic powder. I hate putting too much salt, so hopefully this is not too much. Just a little bit. I don't want it to be overly salty. And then I'm going to put a little white pepper. Just to balance all that out. White pepper. Next time I make a vlog, it's going to be a little bit more organized. But this is kind of a last minute thing. So that's all the seasonings that I put into my omelet. Not omelet, but scrambled mix for my egg. And then I'm going to mix it. And I use 100% Spanish extra virgin olive oil for my scrambles. I wonder what makes it Spanish. Added too much oil. Let's get rid of some of that. A little more. I don't like when my eggs are too oily. I don't think anybody does, but. Thank you. Just waiting for the oil to heat up a little bit. I need to figure out a better setup next time, honestly, because I hate this setup. Now I'm gonna add the eggs in. Hopefully it doesn't pop. Oh dang, I should have added an extra egg. I'm gonna add an extra egg, honestly, because this is not enough. That's not enough. I'm adding another egg. I realized 2 is never enough. I don't know why I only added 2. 2 is never enough. But 3 feels like too much, you know? So, always feels like too much. So, add an extra egg. Now it's time for me to scramble them. Dang, I should have kept the extra butter. I mean, not butter, but olive oil. I'm trying to figure out if I want to make this cheesy or not. And I'm gonna add a little granary, which is parsley. Parsley. Oh, I just love adding parsley to eggs. It's just so pretty, you know? Like, look at this. Like, is this not pretty? It's so pretty to me. Don't want to overcook these scrambled eggs, so basically. Okay, these look beautiful. Okay. Give me one moment. The eggs are done. They're scrambled. This is how they look. Not perfect, but they're good for now. I'm gonna add some cheese. The kind of cheese I like to use is Mexican style blend cheese. I like to use the Mexican style blend cheese. It's my favorite. It tastes really good. And I just add it on top. But before I plate my breakfast, I'm about to pour this water that I have into my bathtub. So I don't have to worry about it later. So, okay, this is the water. I'll be back in a second. I'm back. now I'm gonna plate my breakfast. Here's my corn dog, my morning dog. Here's my eggs. That pool. It looks scrum-dilly on this. Also, what I like to do, I don't like to pour syrup on top of my, like anything that I eat syrup with, like waffles or, you know, sausage corn dogs. I like to pour the syrup in this and then dip it because I hate when the syrup makes whatever getting soggy, and I just don't like the texture of it. I would prefer to dip things in syrup or just a light drizzle. I don't like just a lot of syrup on the top of whatever I'm eating. Whatever I'm eating, because it just, I don't know, the texture, it just throws it off. Like, I will always prefer waffles over pancakes. I don't really even eat pancakes because of how soft pancakes already are, and then you add the syrup on it and it just makes it soggy. That's why I prefer waffles, and when I make my waffles, I make them very, very crunchy, and then I dip them as well. Because even when you pour the syrup on top, it'll still make them really crunchy. And I just don't like that. Or like if I do decide to eat a pancake, what I try to do is just like, I'll just dip the syrup in there instead of just pouring it on top. But that's just me. Now, I'm gonna show you guys how I make my chamomile tea. First, we're gonna start with a mug. And you're gonna start with your chamomile. I like to tie the tea bag on the handle so it doesn't fall in, because it's just so really annoying to me. In days that I don't feel like making a whole pot of tea, like I'm rushing, I'll just put my tea in the microwave, the old American way. I'll put the tea bag in the water in the microwave and just heat it up on like 5 minutes or so. Okay, so yeah, and I'm gonna show you guys how I make my chamomile tea. So basically, I just use honey. Just use honey. It's in the plastic bag because part of it is broken. So I put honey in it. I do a drop of vanilla. Drop of vanilla. It just makes it taste really, really good. But chamomile tea doesn't need vanilla at all. I just like to do that to be extra. And then what I do to be really extra, I used to do cinnamon, but I have cinnamon dust from this like Cinnamon Toast Crunch dust that I had just to put on my oatmeal and stuff. And it's perfect. Like, just sprinkle a little bit on top and it tastes so good. It's phenomenal. This is what I use. I know the lighting is horrible. I know, I'm so sorry. So, I'm gonna give you guys a quick little preview of my breakfast before we go and sit down. I'm actually gonna just put the vlog camera on a tripod now that I'm done cooking, because I just hate this. I hate the setup. I'm so sorry. It's been irking me. This is the breakfast. So So now we're gonna go sit down and talk. And I was gonna eat at the table. Actually, I will eat at the table because the lighting is better in here. Usually, honestly, truthfully, I eat in bed, but the lighting is way better in here. So I just think it'll be better if I just eat at the table. And there's a nice view of the flowers that my sister put on the table. I think it's really, really pretty. So I'm just gonna eat at the table. Maybe I should get those boxes that I had. Set this up. Let me just get those boxes. I'm sorry, with time I will be better at filming vlogs. But right now, shoot. Oh, this is so annoying. It just never wants to stand up. I need to get a better tripod. But for right now, okay, this is good. God, my neighbor is cleaning, so hopefully that noise doesn't pick up, but yeah. So now we're gonna eat. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna show you guys one more shot of my breakfast, cause yeah. About that, my camera turned off for some reason. It's not dead or anything, so I don't know why that happened, but basically I was saying that I started reading Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop because it was free on Kindle, and then also The Right Sign by Nia Arthurs was free on my Kindle, like the one that I have on my phone. They were both free, so I decided to start with them. Most of these books I got from TikToks that I was looking at because I really wanted to see what other black girls were reading and the romance, because I don't read that much romance. And so I already had 7 Days in June by Tia Williams saved to my TBR because I've heard good things about that book. But Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop was one that I saw a lot of people reviewing and saying that they liked. And then Honey and Spice was another one. Seems like a really popular book, and also it's in Reese Witherspoon's, like she read it for her book club, so I thought that was cool, so I decided to go with those two. The Right Sign by Nia Arthurs was one I found on my own. I liked it because I don't think I've really seen any romances with people that have disabilities. I know they're out there, but I haven't read anything like that, so I was just like, you know what, that would be something really good to add to my TBR. And then 7 Days in June by Tia Williams, I already went over that, but yeah. So that's my TBR for February. After I read those books, I want to either read 1,000 Boy Kisses. I'm gonna search up the author because I have the book, and The Pride and the Prejudice. And I also have that book. And I was thinking of reading both of those books after I'm done reading my TBR, if I have time in February to read those. But 1,000 Boy Kisses is by Tilly Cole. And then Pride and the Prejudice is by Jane Austen, obviously, but yeah, those are the books I want to read. And the book that I currently read from that list was Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. I'm gonna save my review for my video that I'm releasing by Valentine's Day because I'm really excited about it. Although it's a vegan corn dog, it's pretty good. I didn't really like sausage growing up, but this is like way better than sausage to me. I don't know why. I never really liked the oiliness of sausage either. Like I don't know why. I loved bacon, but I never really liked sausage growing up. But vegan sausage is always really good to me. But the book I really wanted to talk about was The Bell Jar, because that's the book I read before Only for the Weak by Natasha Bishop. The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath is just basically a book but basically The Bell Jar is basically about a girl who is you just basically slowly see her descend into, like, I don't want to say madness, but how her mental health slowly deteriorates, and you just kind of see that happen. And I think it's a beautiful book about mental health. And also it talks about like not knowing what you want to do in life, like as a young adult, and just basically the pressures women faced in the 50s. But I feel like that's nothing new. Like most people, like for back in the time, back in the day, like it was probably something that was very eye-opening, and is like it gave a lot of people an epiphany about why they felt the way they felt. Because there's a lot of women back in those times who were just slowly going crazy because of their circumstances, but they couldn't actually put a name to what they were feeling, or they couldn't really describe what they were feeling. And it's crazy because like a lot of times when you're going through something, you think it's unique to you because you see everybody else is functioning properly, and it seems like everybody is functioning in society in a way that they're supposed to, and then you're over here struggling, and then you don't realize there's so many people going through this, but it's just going on in their head. And that's what I love about the book. It's like so many people are just going through things, but it's going on in their head, so they seem perfectly normal. Because like Esther, throughout the book, I always notice that like she speaks horribly, like not horribly about herself, but she really speaks down on herself, and she doesn't really, it seems like she questions why people even want to be around her. But it seems like people don't, like, to everybody else she just seems like a normal, nice girl. And I always wondered that, because I know she had her snarky ways and she could be really mean, and it was mostly in her mind that she would do it. But like towards the end, when she started slowly losing her mind, she would be more blunt. She was like very blunt. But I noticed that she just seemed like she just described herself in a way that was very mundane and bland, and like she wasn't unique in any way. But like people seemed like they wanted to be like her friend, like that one friend that she had in college that was kind of wild. Esther kind of wasn't a good friend, because after she left her friend with that man, and her friend threw up everywhere, she just left her on the floor. I was like, I don't get why that girl want to be friends with her. But she obviously saw something in Esther that Esther didn't see in herself, because Esther obviously didn't think highly of herself. Or even when she was hanging out with I forget that dude's name, the potential love interest. It wasn't really even a love interest, it was just the guy that she was dating at the time. I forget his name, but it was the guy. Let me see. Let me just Google it. I just read the book, and I literally was thinking about him. Buddy Willard. That's his name. Buddy Willard. And she was hanging out with Buddy Willard's dad, and he told her how much he loved her and how he basically saw her as his own daughter. And I was just like, she might not be like such a bad person, because I was thinking, I'm just like, why does anybody want to hang out with Esther? And she's just so mean and like pessimistic all the time. But then I realized it was probably mostly going on in her mind, because I know a lot of things that she would say were in her mind. But I'm like, sometimes she would say things and I'm just like, if that was me, I wouldn't want to be around her. But obviously people perceived her in a way that she didn't perceive herself. And the self-hatred that she has is something as I get older. It's something that as I get older, I see in a lot of people, especially online. Like, it's just something that I never realized that was such a big thing. Like I knew that people who had like mental disabilities or like mental illnesses could be very bitter and hateful, but when it came to depression, I never realized it could manifest in that way, because when you're depressed, usually you're just really sad and you're despondent and you really keep to yourself. And that's how I feel like I was. Like, I just felt like I just mostly hated myself, and she obviously hates herself. But I realized that she did spew a lot of hatred and bitterness towards people. And online, I see how that is really true, because there will be times where you see somebody say the most hateful, disgusting thing, like something you would never even think of, and then you click on their like Twitter page and you realize they have an eating disorder. Like, there's this whole subgenre on Twitter. It's called eating disorder Twitter, and they're like the most hateful people that I've ever seen in my life. Like, their hate is like something that makes me like my skin crawl. Like, they will literally say the most horrible thing about a person, but they hate themselves, and they're okay with hating themselves. They know they hate themselves, like they're aware of it. They don't like the way they look, and they just openly talk about people, and they try to use their like their mental illness as an excuse. Esther, she never did that though in the book. She never really used the fact that she was losing her mind as an excuse as to why she was hateful. That's just how she just thought that was the way she was. But a lot of people, they do that, and I don't know. I think that book is a very great depiction of how mental health can manifest in ways that are not likable. You know, it doesn't really make the main character look all polished and perfect. Like, she's not the perfect victim of mental illness and depression. I don't know if I described that correctly, but you know, most times when you like read a book or see somebody in the show that's very depressed, like, you know, it's very somber and they're very sad, and you want to feel sorry for them. But there's a lot of times throughout the book where you're just like, she's an a-hole, like. And it's not, it was never really any time in the book where I'm just like, I don't feel bad for her, she deserves what she's going through. But it's just like, she just isn't like a normal, like, she's not, I mean, she is a normal main character because there's a lot of very unlikable main characters. But it was just, I feel like it was very different for the time for a main character to be like that. Like, she was depressed, and she was like a very sad person when you think about it. When I think about Esther, I get really sad because she's a very sad person. I would hate to wake up like that every day, and I used to be like that. I mean, recently, like, and I understand being in a mental state, but it's just like being hateful and bitter on top of it just feels like an extra weight. Because I feel like when I was going through things, I was just like, I just wanted to be alone. I didn't want to talk to anybody. I just stayed to myself. But I realized for other people, when they're depressed and when they're sad and they're going through things, the only way they can really, I don't know, express that, or just, I don't know, they just move with a lot of hatred and bitterness. And I just think that's sad because it just adds an extra layer to what you're going through, because you're just putting weight on yourself when you act like that towards people and towards yourself. Constantly hating yourself and constantly hating other people is so exhausting. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say about the book. There was a few lines in the book that I highlighted that were really funny, because although she was a very mean person, she could be funny. That's one thing that I liked about her. I'm just like, at least she's funny, you know? Like, I'm not saying, like, she was very racist too, but, you know, it was in 1950. I'm not excusing it at all. It's disgusting. She was a very horrible person, honestly. And sometimes, it's like, I don't completely resonate with her because she was like a white, younger girl in the 1950s, and she was like middle class. So I don't really resonate with her all that well. But she could be funny sometimes. Like, when Buddy Willard exposed himself to her, she was like, the only thing I could think of was chicken gizzards and turkey necks. I was like, like, she ate that. Or towards the end of the book, when one of the characters that was her friend, kind of her friend, was the ex of Buddy Willard. She was always trying to be nice to Esther. She was always trying to be really nice to Esther. And she ended up, like, when I think about that character, I get really sad, because when she got better throughout the book, I was like, wow, this might be like foreshadowing the fact that, like, you know, Esther is gonna get better. And then I just loved how Sylvia Plath wrote that, because it showed her throughout her journey throughout being in the mental facility. And throughout the whole time, she was really good, because we didn't really meet her when she was at her worst. We met her when she was getting better. And it was sad because it just happened out of nowhere, where she just left, and then she just ended up dying because she hung herself. And I just thought that was really sad, and she just wrote that perfectly, because it just happened out of nowhere. We thought she was okay. We thought she was getting better. It was giving us hope that Esther was getting better. Well, it was giving me hope. I don't know how everybody else responded to that while they were reading it, but then she just ended up dying. And so Buddy Willard came to the facility to visit Esther, and it was after the friend's funeral. I need to look up her name, and I'll just add it in there so you guys know who I'm referring to. But she ended up killing herself. Buddy came to visit Esther, and then they were like working together on something. I think they were working on a car or something. I forgot what they were doing, or in the garden or something. But he was like, Esther, can I ask you a question? She was like, yeah. This man had the audacity to say, do you think it's something about me that make women go crazy? And it's so crazy because when I tell you I die laughing, I don't know if that anybody else, but I died laughing. I was like, man, one thing they're gonna do is have the audacity. Like, the way she reacted in the book, I was like, that's exactly how I would have reacted. Because, like, who the F do you think you are? Like, he really thought, like, he had it. Like, he had something in him that could make girls go crazy. Like I would have just been looking at him like, what in the world are you talking about? Like, you really think highly of yourself. Like, that's insane. But I died laughing when I read that, because I'm like, this, like, you can just tell that she really put everything that she experienced in this book. And I love that, because it's just like, that's something so, like, the audacity that men just have can only be written by a woman. It can only be written by a woman. Like, and she wrote it perfectly. Like, the things that you do throughout that book, I'm like, men really don't change. They really don't. Another topic that the book talked about was like the idea of purity. It was touched on a few times throughout the book, and I remember there was this one scene where Esther was kind of being I don't know what to call it, a guide for this kid whose girlfriend had got engaged, and he was supposed to take her to the dance in college. And so when he came to the college, Esther was like the first one to see him, so she felt obligated. I felt sorry for women back then because they just had to do anything, but she felt obligated to, like, you know, to show him around, to make him feel better, because like his girlfriend left him. And so they were at a diner, and the topic of sex came up, and he was basically just like, you know, he was a virgin when he was in college. Him and his friends, they wanted to lose their virginity, so they decided to go to a brothel, or one of those places that you go for, you know, the nasty. And he decided to sleep with this woman, and it wasn't good, obviously, because he had no connection to her. He didn't know her. Like, obviously it wasn't gonna be good. It's your first time. And he was saying that, like, he just felt so disgusting, and it was so degrading. And he was just telling her that if he had ever had a wife, he would never sleep with her. He would go and sleep with other women he didn't deem pure, and women he didn't think high of. He would sleep with them, and then his wife would stay this perfect, you know, pious person, you know, of purity. And it was just like, I just think that's so insane, because she wrote that, and I'm just like, that's so insane, because like, that's literally how I felt that men think about women all the time. Like, that's something I felt men have always thought about women. And it's just crazy how I just read it in a book that was written in the 50s. And like, I just always kind of just had this feeling that, like, men, a lot of them, not all of them obviously, but they just see women as commodities. They just see them as walking chasms to just satiate them. Honestly, like, they don't see them as much as, like they just see them as some. And then women that they do, I feel like women that they do deem as worthy, they always have to be like perfect, or like just per person. And I just feel like that's why a lot of men throughout marriage, it's not even that their wives are nagging them or they're starting to hate their wives. I just think that the woman that he met isn't that person anymore, because you're young, you know, you have a youthfulness to you, but after you've had children and you've become a wife, you've become wiser. And a lot of men, I think they just associate that just with, you know, I don't know. That's why, I mean, it's a video for another day, like, because I could just talk about that for hours, but I remember just being really disgusted with that. And it just makes me glad that I'm asexual and I don't have to deal with that. It's just one of the main reasons why I don't date, because I just feel like men will never see me as a person. Like, and I know it's not all men. I'm just gonna keep reiterating that, because I feel like there's gonna be people like, oh, like all men are not like that, but a lot of them are. And I just don't want to be seen as that. I want to be seen as a person, a sentient being who has thoughts and emotions. I don't want to just be something to just, you know, get you off. And I just feel like a lot of men, they just don't really understand that. I don't know. I don't know. But I think that's just the main reason I am. It's not the main reason. There's a lot of reasons why I'm asexual, but just the fact that men would just see me and just the only thing they can think of is, you know, the holes on my body and what they can do with it. It's just, I don't know, the way I describe that is kind of weird, but it makes me recoil, and it just doesn't make me even want to try to be in a relationship. I don't know. Like, if a guy actually wanted to be with me and never wanted to do anything, I think that would be so beautiful. I don't know, because it's just like, it just truly just means that you want to be with me. And I get it, like, you know, sex is basically something that, you know, adults do, and it's just, you know, it's needed for adults, but I just think the idea of a guy just not wanting to do that with you and just genuinely loving you for you is insane. I don't know. But with all that being said, that's the end of the vlog, and I'm about to go finish eating my food. Bye.